I keep saying this, be very, very lucky you got President Trump instead of Hillary Clinton. Because the stuff I'm about to read you would only be getting worse. And I think, honestly, far worse. Zero Hedge through Sovereign Man, Simon Black. Local government seizes countless kids based on falsified drug test results. I'm going to tell you something you may not know. Some of these, even in America here, certain institutions that have to do with taking children from their parents. Oh, you know, for the protection of the kids. Some of these institutions have to prove that there's actually a need for them to exist to get the government funding to keep the doors open. If there ain't no problems in the world, our doors don't stay open. We can't pat ourselves on the back and give ourselves a paycheck. So if the number, you know, if the quotas are low, hey, guys, we got a quota to meet and we're low on the quota, is it possible that some of these places are falsifying documents, falsifying signatures from judges and whatnot, and actually getting kids yanked out of their homes from their parents, thrown into foster care, and God knows what happens to the kids, because we know some pedophiles love to go into the foster care for that reason alone. We know this. Not all, but we know that some people do that. So imagine your kids being stripped from your arms. The police come in, we've got a court order, you know, whatever, to do this. And then you find out later on, it was all a lie. Things signatures were made up, and your kids were taken. I'm pretty sure you're going to want to effing kill somebody when you figure that out. And of course, you already knew it at the time, because you're like, yeah, you're taking my kids based on this, but this is a lie. Sorry, we don't believe you. We're taking your kids. So there's 4 points he makes here, 4 different things. And the first one, rejoice, it's Friday. It's just a couple days old. Here is our weekly roll-up of bizarre and disturbing stories from around the world. This one's in America. Ozark, Alabama. Local government seized countless children based on falsified drug test results. For years, the county of Ozark, Alabama, hired a private laboratory to analyze paternity and drug tests. These were pretty critical tests, because the county would rely on those test results to determine whether or not to take someone's children away from them. Now here's the interesting thing. If you're contracting to a private organization, which they are, we need you to do these test results, give us the test results. Seems to me it doesn't matter whether your results are saying no, there's no drugs, the parent's fine, or yeah, there's drugs in the parent's blood, they're not fine. It seems to me you've got a job either way. So why would you falsify that a bunch of these parents are drug users when their blood test results are actually showing it's not even true? Why would somebody say they're true unless there's something else going on here? Maybe a kickback of some kind. When it's from, we can pull the children out. I don't know. Anyways, these were pretty critical tests because the county would rely on those test results to determine whether or not to take someone's children away from them. It turns out that the lab's owner, Brandy Murrah, was falsifying the results. Really? Instead of running a legitimate operation, Murrah pocketed the money and faked the test results. Imagine being a woman who has children, right? You know, women more so than men are attached to their children. You know what I mean? The motherly thing going on. Not to say that men aren't. So for another woman to not even care or know whether you're a drug user or not, just, yes, they got drugs in their body, knowing the kids are going to be stripped away from them, you've got to be one sick individual. Wow. So she faked the test results. Then she forged a doctor's signature to certify the results. The only reason she was ever caught is because an innocent woman who failed the drug test tracked down the doctor to ask him about the results because she knew I've never done drugs. So there's no way this is possible. I've got to talk to the doctor who's signed off on this. I don't do drugs. How did you say I did? Right? You may have a problem with your equipment or something's going on, right? So that's probably what she wanted to figure out. The doctor was bewildered and said that he never saw any such results. And the trail of fraud led right back to Brandy Murrah. That woman says her custody battle for her children was negatively affected because of this fraudulent drug test. And she's likely not alone. Oh, not likely. There's no need for the word likely. She's absolutely not alone. If you want to see a very disturbing yet very educational video, I've said this before, it's been a while. I think you can watch it even on Netflix, I believe. It is called Divorce Corp, like corporation. Divorce Corp. Eat your heart out and watch that son of a gun. You watch that if you think there's criminality going on with the whole divorce, take the kids, this parent gets the kid, that parent gets the kid. Well, how come they got it? You know, in other cases, the other parent got it. Well, because me and the judge are friends and you're paying me. And then tomorrow I'm going to be the judge and he's going to be the attorney. We actually get this flip-flop. This is in California. Quick look surprised in California. It will blow your mind. I'll be honest with you. You really need to watch Divorce Corp if you've never seen it. It will blow your ever-loving mind when you see how corrupt this whole society, anything to do with government, how effing corrupt it is. It's disgusting, ripping people and families apart. This is not a shock to me when I'm reading you right now. The Department of Human Services says they believe there may have been a tidal wave of cases where children were taken away from their parents based on falsified test results. Pretty extraordinary, especially given that Murrah had a criminal history of fraud. And yet she was still put in this important role as such an enormous impact, that has had such an enormous impact on people's lives. She has already been convicted of fraud previously. Oh, let's send our results to her place. She's good. Well, she might have committed fraud elsewhere, but she's not going to do that on, their children and families' lives. Nobody would do that. I know some liberal Democrats who would do it without even thinking. To be honest with you. Click here to read the full story, which I'll skip to number 2. I'll put the links up. You can follow it if you want. Story number 2. Australian Federal Police retaliate against journalists. Last week, the Australian Federal Police raided the home of a journalist for unauthorized disclosure of national security information. In April 2018, the journalist published an article in the Daily Telegraph about Australia's surveillance state. She described the plans of the Australian Signals Directorate, or ASD, which is basically the Aussie version of the NSA in America, to begin spying on Australian citizens without warrants. So she's exposing, hey, you guys, you got to have warrants to spy on people. No. Keep that quiet. That's a national security issue. No, this is a journalistic thing I need to do. I'm going to report on this. Well, now we're going to arrest you for leaking state secrets. See, when things are leaked, typically by journalists and whatnot, there's a reason they're leaked. Because they got them from somebody inside who knows they could go to prison for the rest of their lives. But the information they have is so important, it must be leaked to the public. Because it is against whatever country's constitution, and they're going to do it anyways. So that person says, I've got to be a patriot and take one for the team. I'm going to leak this to so-and-so journalist or journalists. And then the deep state goes after them. Well, who gave you this? We'll lock you up. You can't do that. You got to ask for our permission to release this secret document. No, I'm a journalist. And if they land on my lap, I'm going to put it out there. Piss off. The intelligence agency currently only deals with international threats, but the plan was to allow the ASD to access citizens' communications and grant them the power to force private organizations to turn over data on customers. The article included photographs of top secret documents outlining the plans. Just a few days later, the federal police raided ABC Sydney's headquarters over 2017 stories alleging murder and misconduct by Australian special forces in Afghanistan. No arrests have been made, but both news organizations have said openly that these government actions threaten freedom of the press. That's correct. They vowed to protect their sources. Again, click here for more of the full story, which I'll skip to the next one. Number 3, U.S. federal court tells the DEA to reassess marijuana harmfulness. Parents of children with severe diseases have had enough of the government's health advice. They teamed up to challenge the federal government's placement of marijuana as a Schedule 1 drug. Schedule 1 means the Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA, considers marijuana to have no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. But the parents disagree. They see the marijuana extracts help their children with severe epilepsy and neurological disorders. And they say the DEA's scheduling of marijuana is a risk to the health of their children and everyone else who uses medical marijuana products. At first, the lawsuit was dismissed, but now a federal court reviewed the challenge. The court ordered the DEA to act on the plaintiff's scheduling petition, quote, with all deliberate speed, end quote. This is the farthest a challenge to the DEA scheduling of a drug has ever gone. And isn't it amazing? They're going to classify something that has known health benefits to human beings. Again, it's a fact. Neurological disorders and epilepsy have been stopped by children or parents, adults, taking simple CBD oil or what have you, marijuana extract. But the FDA is going to allow so-and-so pharmaceutical company to give you and your kids this extremely harmful drug. You won't get arrested. The doctors won't get arrested. You know, the drug dealers, the doctors won't get arrested. None of them will, because this is FDA approved. Whereas your marijuana, which is just a plant that grows out of the ground, that's highly illegal. We want you to make sure, we want to make sure you're going to our pill pusher. And yeah, they keep jacking the prices up. For a little tiny pill, yeah, you're going to pay out the rear end. You're going to need health insurance just to pay the bill. And then the rest of us are going to have our insurance rates jacked up so that you can get that pill for your daughter or son. Oh, I can't let my son potentially die. I'm with you. Okay. But I don't want to have to pay for it. And everyone else shouldn't have to pay for it through the insurance companies. Only to find out that you now have 5 or 6 different side effects, and you have to take other drugs for those side effects and other drugs for the other side effects, when you could have just been taking marijuana oil, CBD oil, marijuana extract, etc. Nope. So it's nice that the court is saying, DEA, you need to look into this. Am I going to be shocked, and are you going to be shocked, if the DEA come back? Yeah, it still needs to be classified as that. Would it shock you if you found out certain high-level DEA people went and worked in the pharmaceutical industry after they left their career at the DEA? I'm asking, I don't know for sure, but I'm asking if it would surprise you, because we know for a fact the highest level people at the FDA, the top lady a few years ago, left and went to work for the pharmaceutical industry. The one she's supposed to be regulating. The one she let everything they wanted come through. Yep. Totally fine, totally fine, totally fine, totally fine. Which means all the drugs that were pulled off the shelves was her fault. She allowed it to go through, and she got rewarded after she left. Come work over here for a huge salary because you made our people billions of dollars. So we're going to pay you millions of dollars a year salary. You ain't getting that at the FDA. No, but you did what you needed to do at the FDA with your normal 100 and something, maybe 200 something $1,000 salary that she was probably getting, maybe even higher than that. You're now going to get millions for kind of looking the other way. And finally, number 4, U.S. State Department to require social media accounts for visa approval. Uncle Sam wants to see what you've been tweeting. The U.S. government will begin to require foreigners who want to visit the country to disclose their social media accounts on the visa application form. You can indicate that you don't have any accounts, but they warn that lying will be punished severely. They want to know what you're tweeting, what you're Facebooking, what you're YouTubing to visit our country. You got to let us know what you do in your private social life. So again, State Department, oh, Trump's in power though, Joe. I hear you. But Trump ain't in power of everybody. He's in the middle of draining the swamp. He's got a lot of swamp creatures left, by the way. But again, regardless if Trump's in there or not, this is the world that we're living in now. And what was it? Who said it? Was it Those who wish to have security over freedom deserve neither. What was that? Who's that? Was that Ben Franklin? Those who wish to have security over freedom deserve neither. I gotta get the exact quote. It's not that. Benjamin Franklin. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. One of our founding fathers. Why would he say that? Because after 9/11, when the Patriot Act was created, no, that's all we're going to do. But we're not spying on everybody. We don't spy on U.S. citizens. We only listen if it's a foreign call and if we have reason to believe. And then when we do, it's only the metadata. Who called who? We're not listening to conversation. And then we found out, oh, they're listening to conversations. They're recording everything. They're recording your text messages. They're recording your entire conversations. And then it was, oh, well, that stuff is stored, kind of. But we are not allowed to access it unless we have a court order or warrant later on. Okay, but if I have 10 years of talking and whatever private life, and you get a court order 10 years later, you're essentially telling me you get to go back through my entire life and listen to everything, every private, personal conversation, whatever I may have had with my wife or whoever. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's what we're saying. But that's all we're gonna, right? But that's, and then something new. Oh, now foreigners want to visit. Yeah, we're gonna have to know who you are. Well, it's right here. I have a visa. No, or a passport. No. We know that, but we want to know what kind of stuff you talk about. Imagine being a foreigner. I want to visit the U.S., but you're basically what we are here as a conservative Republican. That's your kind of view. You're from the U.K. potentially, one of those guys like under what's the guy's name? He's winning. Nigel Farage. And you come in and you got a bunch of liberal people at the gate, so to speak, Democrats. Oh, you're one of those guys. Yeah. So I've been watching your Facebook, your Twitter. They're not going to tell you this, of course. Your visa's been denied. Oh, why? Gosh, I've been here before. Wonder why I got denied this time. I don't know, sir. You know, I'm just the jabroni up front. The system says you can't come in. Kind of like American citizens. We had back under George Bush W. Bush, Dodo Bird, as I like to call him, the younger one. He was president. Again, after the Patriot Act was all signed, and a professor in particular, he wasn't the only one, but this one in particular, I don't know his name, was giving a college speech or whatever to his students about freedom and how the Patriot Act has kind of poo-pooed our freedom a bit. Next thing he knows, he can't get on a flight. You're on the no-fly list. Excuse me, I'm a professor of such and such college. Yeah, I'm very proud of you, but you can't get on a plane. You're on the no-fly list. Well, who do I see about it? I don't know. Well, someone made the decision that feeds to your system. Yes. So who do I talk to about getting off it? Sir, I don't know. Didn't know how to get off the list. Couldn't figure out how to get off the list. I think you had to go see a Congress member to finally figure out who to get in contact. Oh yeah, and then they were like, yeah, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm a different guy, same name. Sorry about that. Right. So you can see how they work. Anyways, I'm out.